We are back. Golenbock University. I'm Ralph Tyko with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and the host of the show is in a hurricane, Peter Golenbock. One of the co-hosts, Alan Blumkin, is here. I'm the other co-host, Alan Blumkin. How are you this evening?
Fine. It's a privilege to talk to him, Mr. Noren.
Mr. Noren is our guest. He's a former Major League Baseball player of great renown. Most well known for playing on the middle of a great Yankee dynasty, 52, 53, and they should have won in 54. They won more games than any other Yankee team in 54. And Irv
Cleveland
Noren,
won 111.
Right, exactly. Irv Noren, you had your best year in the majors in 54. Welcome, Jamestown, New York. Living in San Diego. Privilege for you to be on the airwaves for us.
Well, thank you. Nice being with you. Going over the old days or whatever. It's always fun to do that.
I do. I don't want to forget to mention that your son-in-law, Ted Kubiak, was also a World Series champion with the A's.
Yeah,
and
he was with Oakland when I was coaching there.
When you were coaching, exactly. So let's start with some of your memories of that dynasty and anything that comes to mind, and then we'll talk about your playing days.
Well, I was a third base coach, and Dick Williams hired me. I knew Dick from school days in Pasadena, where we grew up, and so I got fortunate for him to ask me to coach third for him, and they had when we took the ball club over, when Dick took it over, we had enough. I thought we had enough some guys there that the way Dick operates and everything that we could win it, and we fortunately did. But we had some great players on that team too. You know, they were just battling all the way, and we had fights in the clubhouse and everything else. And when they crossed that white line out there, they were all teammates and went at them. You know,
they didn't take their hatred or their dislike for each other on the ball.
Reggie Jackson, and all those guys. You know, and Catfish Hunter and Sal Bando and Gene Tennis and Bruno Northam and Vida Blue. We had some good ball players that really knew how to play, you know.
Oh, absolutely. And Kenny Holtzman came along.
Kenny Holtzman, yeah.
Billy North was terrific.
Joe Rudy.
A nice ball club.
Yeah.
Speak to Joe Rudy.
A little bit because they just battle. If we lost, we'd say, "Well, get them tomorrow. Forget it. You know, just not worry about it. We'll be all right." So they're real good to me, and I appreciated that. You know, they respected me, I think, as a player, and you know, we won when I was there, so that helped.
What's not to respect? Speak to Joe Rudy. He was a player that reminded me of a younger Irv Noren. I don't know if just his solid. He was solid. Let's put it that way. Every day worked hard, huh?
Yeah, Joe is a good guy. He worked hard and played left field. And like I say, I pictured myself out there with him a lot. I talked a lot to Joe and got along with him really good. And he was a big asset to that ball club.
Well, I had a feeling you'd appreciate him. Al Blumkin, talk about Joe Noren's 1950.
Irv Noren, yeah. Well, first a couple of things. Irv, I looked at your page on the baseballreference.com today to refresh my memory, and you signed with the Dodgers and you played the minor league ball with them for several years in their farm system?
Yeah, I signed with the Dodgers. I got out of service in 1946 out of the Army, and then Tom Downey, Dodger scout, called and wanted to sign me, and a couple other teams talked to me, the Red Sox and stuff, and the Dodgers, Tom Downey says, the Dodgers will offer you $5,000 to sign, and I said, well, where's the pen? You know, getting out of the service and So I signed that night, and I got out, and the next day I went to Fort Worth, and they sent me back up to Santa Barbara in the California League the first year. And then I ended up at Fort Worth in the Texas League the next 2 years. I was the MVP in 48. Then they sent me to Hollywood in the Pacific Coast League that Brooklyn had a dealer with that year, and I happened to have a good year and the most valuable player in that league. And so Bucky Harris, who was managing was managing San Diego in the Pacific Coast League that year in 49. He saw me play, and he told Mr. Griffith any chance of getting me, get that little left-hander out there in Noren in Hollywood. So Branch Rickey's lost some money in that football league, is what I understand. He sold Chico Carrascal to the White Sox, Sam Jessup to Boston, and me to Washington Senators. So that's how I ended up at Washington out of the Dodger organization. I
saw you at in 1950.
Brooklyn Football Dodgers. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. 1950 and 51, you played almost every day for Washington.
Yeah, well, I had a good year, both good years. I didn't have 300 RBIs, over 300 and 100 RBIs, but I had my appendix out, and the next year I broke my jaw, got it sliding to second base at Boston and Fenway Park, and something always seemed to happen like that, you know.
Were you surprised by the trade to the Yankees?
Yeah, I was sort of surprised. Yeah, I mean, I was having, of course, the beginning of '52. I was in spring training in Orlando with Washington, and we would talk. What are you going to do this year? Oh, I guess I'm going to go back to paint with Dick Williams. We painted a couple of years, houses and and different things, and we had to work during the winter because we had to save our money that we made. And during the season, we were making $9,000, $10,000, $12,000 or something like that. So I just, and then of course I got traded to the Yankees, and then Mr. Griffith called me at the office, and he said, I've traded you upstairs. And I said, well, what are you talking about? He said, well, you report to the Yankee Stadium tomorrow. They're playing the Chicago White Sox. They want you to play center field, a doubleheader. And I said, my wife is pregnant. She's got another baby in about 3 weeks, and we've got a 4-year-old here. And he asked me if I understood what he said, and I said, yeah. But he said, well, you're to report tomorrow at Yankee Stadium, and here's all the stuff. And that was that. I called my wife, told her, and I called my folks. And Mickey Vernon's wife was very friendly from my wife, and so she said, we'll take care of him. She'll take care of him until your family gets here. So that was about it. I went from going to have to paint during the winter to playing the World Series. That was a little different.
Right.
Did you like playing for Washington?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Mr. Griffith was really a nice guy, and in fact, I broke my jaw in Boston, and they put me in a plane right away, and I went to the hospital there, and they said it's broken. I went to the plane and flew into Washington, got in there about, I guess it was 1:32 in the morning, and there was Dr. Rest, our doctor, and Mr. Griffith there waiting for me to get off the plane. They took me to the hospital and wired me up. So he was very good to the families, and that he doesn't pay a lot of money, but he was very good. He was a nice guy.
Yeah, when you got to the Yankees, because they had so much talent in the outfield with Woodling, Mantle, Bauer, and whoever, and you became essentially a platoon player for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I just of course, Django liked the platoon, and I used to hit left-handed. I didn't worry about left-handers or right-handers at Washington, but with New York, they had the way in Washington. You could go for 5 or 8 or whatever, but New York, I went 0 for 4 against Billy Pierce, who I usually hit pretty good, and I guess that was it about left-handers, I guess. But he had the guys to platoon, and he would do it early innings, late innings, or whatever. He'd just do whatever he felt was the best. Casey, I'm talking about.
Right. His he had hunches. Did they oft times paid off? And there was no other reason, just a hunch.
Yeah, he was always ahead of the game. A guy, we'd do something, and what do you do that for? And all of a sudden, well, that's the reason. I remember one time Joe Collins had 2 or 3 straight base hits, and they put left-hander in, and Joe Collins hit left-handed, so he put Johnny Sain in the pinch hit for him, and he drove the triple down the left field line to win the ball game. So, I mean, I don't know. He just did what he thought he was right, you know. So.
Yeah.
Bill Collins didn't like it too much, but after it was all over, he was happy, you know.
Irv, let me just ask you one more question, and I'm going to put you back with Alan. What was it like pitching behind the big three and Whitey Ford coming in after that? What was it like playing behind those guys, if you would?
You mean
Rassi, Reynolds, Lopat,
okay.
and then Ford.
And Rassi, and yeah. Well, I roomed with Ford for 5 years on the road, and he knew how to pitch. You know, he wasn't a fastballer, but he did a lot of different things and thinking and all that stuff. And in fact, Ted Williams was one of the guys that had a lot of trouble hitting Whitey. Reynolds, you had the he gave it 100% every time, and when you were behind him, you knew that he wasn't messing around out there. You had a lot of pitchers hang around and walk around. And when you're an outfielder, so you got to get ready because there's another ball. He's taking his time to pitch. And one time I remember that Yogi Berra tells a story that Stengel, Allie Reynolds was pitching about the eighth inning. We were ahead 2-1, and he walked the guy, and Stengel comes out to the mound, and Allie Reynolds looked at Casey and said, "What are you doing here?" sort of things like Casey. Well, I thought you might be getting tired. I'm not tired. Go back to the dugout. I'm going to finish this game, okay? So Casey walked back to the dugout, and he finished the game. And Yogi told the story, of course, but he walks out with a manager when he goes to pitcher, you know. So that's the way they were in them days. They want to finish the game, you know. They didn't go 6 innings and look down the bullpen and look for someone to come in, you know. And Rassi was the same way, a hard throwing, you know, there. So, you know, they're going to throw strikes and they're going to weren't going to walk a lot of guys, and that really helps when you're in the outfield because you're ready to go and boom, and ready to go another ball. So you're on the ball, you know, you're getting your toes, you're on your toes more so.
Right. Would you, if you would, speak to the mindset of the outfielders, the really good outfielders? Every day, at least one of you guys weren't playing. Bauer, Woodling, yourself.
Yeah.
There are stories that Woodling really disliked Casey and his mannerisms, his way of managing.
Yeah.
How were you with all of that? Were you able to accept it on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, yeah. I accepted Casey. I liked playing for him. He had no rules. He just said, you guys play, be ready to play, and you're representing New York Yankees when you're on the road, and if you don't play, you don't give out, we'll get somebody else. Got a lot of guys waiting to take your place. I think Stengel said something to Woodling one time. Well, Stengel used to say a few things under his, you know, not under his breath, but it was loud, and Woodling did something, and Casey said something about him and upset Woodling, and Woodling came back and yelled at Casey. They got an argument, and that's when I played a couple of weeks in a row. Casey, what the heck going on?
When Woodling was traded, you played pretty much regularly in '54.
Yeah. At 54, I had a good year, and then that's another thing happened. I tried to hold up on a pitch in fact, Mickey McDermott was pitching, and I hold up, and I strained my top of my right hand, top of my hand, and I was in the All-Star game, but I couldn't. Casey said, "Can you hit?" And I said, "God, I can't hold the bat." So I just got to go out and play left field in the last couple of innings, but I didn't, wanted to hit real bad, but that happened to me right before the All-Star game. So something will always sort of happen, I don't know. But anyway, you just got to keep battling, and especially with the Yankees, they're a good bunch of guys.
After you left the Yankees, you went from Kansas City to a pretty nice little career as a utility pinch hitter in the National League. Can you tell us?
I went to the Cardinals. Freddie Hutchinson was managing, and I used to hit him pretty good when he was in Detroit when I was with Washington and the Yankees. I guess I was available or something like that, and I wasn't playing much at Kansas City, and had the younger guy, so I went over Cardinals, and the room was Stan Musial, and
wow.
Oh wow,
that was different.
Wow.
So, but great guy. I joined the Cubs and joined the Cardinals in Wrigley Field one afternoon, and went to the hotel. So I remember Noren checking in with the St. Louis Cardinals. Oh yeah, Mr. Noren, you're in the room, whatever it was, and I said, a room or something, somebody or myself or what? And he said, just a minute. She said, your room was Stan Musial. I said, what? And I said, well, what room is? So I went and called the phone, and Stan answered it. And I said, Stan, this or no, come on up, roomie, come on up. I heard you were in a room with me. So that was different.
Wow.
Sort of neat. He was a great guy.
Yes, indeed.
So,
I had
a good year with him that year and next year, and
Yeah, pretty good stick with the Cubs there in 1 year.
Yeah. When you get older, when you get been around like that, and I had the knees were bothering me pretty much, and
yeah, I heard you had a lot of knee trouble, right? You had a lot of knee trouble.
Yeah. Running that wall at Yankee Stadium one time, that concrete wall, they never.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so that goes along with the game, I guess. So.
Right.
But I enjoyed it. And,
who were some of your coaches growing up in prep ball that are responsible for you continuing on?
Well, my dad was one of them. He just wanted to see me. He took me to the 35 World Series in Detroit when we were in Jamestown. We moved out to Pasadena in 1937 or something like that.
Wow.
But he was a real baseball fan, and he drove my brother and I to Detroit and watched Detroit and Chicago play in that World Series, and slept outside and got tickets, and then he went to Yankee Stadium next year with him by himself, another guy, I guess, and in '36, and then we came out here. So he was loved baseball, and I told him when I was 10 or 12 years old I wanted to play in the major league someday, so he wouldn't have to pay to get in and watch me play. I'd get him some free tickets. So he, but I think the key to that was I had some really good coaches in school, high school, good programs, and that's what helps. Guys that really wanted to help the players, and I think my dad. He followed me all over. He was a baker, Swedish bakery, and then he ended up in Jamestown, then one in Pasadena, and he followed me through Hollywood and Fort Worth, and was there all the time, and then he finally went to Yankees, and I think my greatest moment between him and I was when I got in the World Series in '52, and he flew back, of course, and we were sitting up, and he's sitting right behind us. We got there early. He stayed with us. We were living in downtown New York, and he kept down and he said, "Wow, what a change!" I said, "Dad, a little different from Santa Barbara, California, at Sea League to the World Series today, huh?" And I looked at him. He started tears in his eyes, and I had tears in my eyes. And I think that was a moment that we both, dreams had come true, you might say,
Absolutely. And I'm sure you still tear up when you think about it.
Yeah, I do. So.
Now, Irv, where were you when Mantle hit that monstrous home run in Griffith Stadium?
I was standing in left field. I think with another pitcher, and Mickey was there.
Yeah.
And the wind was blowing out just a little bit, not a gale, but a little bit, and he had just hit one before that in New York or somewhere. And I said, "Mick, I think maybe if you get a hold of one tonight, you might hit one out of here." And some of the guys, not that it was any my fault, but
yeah,
he come back and he said, "Damn, you were right." He remembered, I guess, or something like that. But
any memories of Billy Martin, Whitey, and Mickey
Yogi
acting out early on?
No.
No, I was a designated driver because I didn't drink. But otherwise, I lived with Mickey at the Edison Hotel downtown New York before our families came out. And then we both got a house about a block and a half away in Fort Lee, New Jersey. George Washington Bridge right out under the Bronx down there, so.
Yeah.
I had a lot of good memories with Mickey, and he was just a super guy. And like I say, I had good memories. And we knew he was out of the lineup. When he wasn't playing, you just sort of felt that he was out and we needed help or something like that. But
right.
Mickey loved Billy Martin, and he didn't help. Mickey just idolized Billy Martin, and he just hung out with him a lot, and that didn't help him, I don't think. But anyway, they were both great players and stuff, of course. Billy was a battler and like that. Billy was a fighter, and Mickey was a lover, I guess you might say that.
Okay.
What were your memories of Yogi?
Oh, Yogi? Oh, Yogi's Yogi. I mean, he was just sincere. He was a good athlete, and you don't know what you're going to say. And the day I was we were taking a train station, and waiting at the train station, and him and Don Larson were sitting there getting comic books, and Larson say, "Hey, no, get one. I got that one, Yogi. When I get in the train, when I read it, I'll trade for you." And I'll get this one. So they were making sure they didn't get the same one, so they could trade in the train when they got through with the comic books, stuff like that.
Right.
But just Yogi was Yogi. I mean, he was a good athlete, and I never realized that anything about pass balls or nothing. I mean, I never even thought about a pass ball with him back there. I'm sure they were probably, but you weren't that worried about it. But
right.
Who were some of your favorite teammates on Washington?
Well, Mickey Vernon, when he was there, was a favorite, and then I remember Pete Reynolds when they sent him up, when they brought him up from Chattanooga or wherever they did, and I roomed with him in 51 or 2 or something like that, and Eddie Yost.
Gil Cohen.
Gil Cohen. I talked to him a while back, and
yeah, I know he's still around. He's 95.
Yeah, he had a stroke or something. He said, and I don't know how he's doing. But Sam Neely.
Yeah.
Sam was a nice
manager of the Twins later on.
Pardon me?
He managed the Twins later on.
Oh yeah, he was great. He was quite a guy. He was
Did your paths cross with George Case?
No, I did never. He was before me. I never did. I think I met him in spring training in Orlando or something one time, but I didn't. He could run real fast, I guess I heard.
Yeah, they had a lot of, they had a lot of Cuban pitchers in those days, like Consuegra and Marrero.
Yeah. Connie Marrera. He just died recently, 101 years old or something like that.
He was the oldest player for a while.
Then Mike Sandlot, the catcher of Pittsburgh, took over, and I played with him too. So the last couple of years, I don't know where I'm in.
You played in Hollywood in the PCL League. Do you have some recollections of that league and fun you might have had playing back then?
Well, the Coast League in them days was really a nice league. I mean, I used to go over there on my bicycle and watch it at Wrigley Field in L.A. and watch the Angels play, and then it was combined with older players and younger players going up. And I played I was in center field, and Frank Kelleher was an old timer there. They played at Cincinnati a little while, and I guess they wanted to go back up, and he said that to go back up, he was going to have to take a cut. So he just stayed out there at Hollywood and makes $17,000, $18,000, whatever he was making, but he's just going to have to take a cut to go back to big league. So there's a lot of guys in that league.
There were long homestands and road trips. You'd go in for maybe 9 games. Am I correct? Yeah,
you'd have Monday off. I think they're going to Seattle or whatever it says. Monday, go there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and doubleheader, and then off Monday, and then go to the next town, and you'd see their whole pitching staff. That's for sure.
Right.
You know where you went. But we trained, and then we flew a little bit later, but. It was it was a fun league. You know, I enjoyed it, of course. It was all right out here in the Coast League, not like it is today. You know, just right on the coast.
Do you remember Old Timers games when you played? Did they have Old Timers games back then?
Yankee Stadium, they did, yeah. I remember helping Cy Young up the stairs with his cane.
Wow.
I don't know what year it was, but I was with the Yankees, and he came back down, and I went up and helped him back down the stairs after he left the field. And thank you, son. He said, just remember now, when you get up there, try every pitch. Don't give up, and good luck to you, or something like that. And so, they were all, Jimmy Fox, Ty Cobb, all the older guys that we all looked up to. We enjoyed watching those guys play. And
Irv, may I ask you any regrets?
Any regrets?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any. I had a good life. I had a full life. I got to do what I wanted to do when I was a kid, and got to play in the major leagues, and everything, whatever I have, I got through baseball. I got a decent pension and stuff like that, and I would do it over again. I gave my all, and I didn't give him a lot of trouble. I tried my best, and to treat people right and stuff like that, and I'd do it. I'd do it again, of course, the next time if I come back again, whatever happens.
Can you give some insight into the 1952 World Series? Because that was one of the first years I watched it entirely, and I know you guys went Tebbets Field for the last two games, losing 3-2.
Right, I remember that. In my first World Series, of course, but we used to take the bus from Yankee Stadium, police escort, come over the George Washington Bridge, and they said, be sure you put the windows up on the bus because you're going to get hit with tomatoes, bananas, and everything else, because they knew who were coming to Brooklyn, the Yankees. And we walked in the clubhouse, and I was walking with Rizzuto, and I said, well, we got to do good here. He said, we're the Yankees. We're going to win 2 in a row here and win it all. I said, okay, if you say so. I never forget that.
That was Phil Rizzuto saying that.
Yeah, Rizzuto told him. I was walking with him, and I said something about, I didn't say nothing about, we got to scare. I said, we got to win 2 here. He said, we're going to win 2. He said, we're the Yankees. They ain't going to beat us. We'll win 2.
What was the reaction when Casey brought in Bob Kazava in that last game? He pitched the 7th inning. That pop-up that Billy Martin caught running in.
That pop-up Billy Martin caught. That was a big play there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bob Kazava comes in, and he did a great job, And, of course, I'll never forget Billy Martin catching the ball and making that catch and doing it all. I think Jackie Robinson popped it up, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'll be 93 coming up in November, so.
Yeah, I saw that in your
still
page.
Walking around.
Hey, you still got your marbles, every one of them, and they're in a bag that doesn't leak.
I still have a few thoroughbred horses that I run out here at Santa Anita and stuff, and Del Mar, and I can still drive. My daughters don't like to drive with me, but I've still got my reflexes and all that. So. Yeah,
I saw you. I'm a member of the baseball research group Saber, and I saw you and Ray Boone when you were in San Diego in 1993. You talked to us for a while. Yeah, it was. Of course, I played against them, but we were friendly down here. Yeah. And it seems that once the playing days are over, that basically all of you guys are in like a big fraternity, and you all become friendly no matter who you played for.
Oh yeah. I mean, we have a bunch of guys get together now about once every 2 months and talk about things and who just ask questions and get about 15 or 20. We don't want too many guys because we want 2 guys talking here and 2 over there. We want one guy talking, but listening. You know what I mean? So, and we have all major leaguers, and Randy Jones comes over, and Bob Chandler, the announcer for the Padres, and we have 10 or 12 of us, and then some other guys that are minor leaguers that played, and we have a ball talking about everything and about everybody, and we're just one big family, you might say, and the rivalry that they build up between Boston and the Yankees now is fine. He said, but we knew the player, we knew each other, and we didn't think of it that much. The fans made it a big rivalry, which was fine, but after the season and all that stuff, we went our merry way, and we're out here in the coast. A lot of players lived out here from different teams, We have golf tournaments.
Now, you're in San Diego. Ted Williams was in San Diego most of his life.
Yeah, well, went to Hoover High School down here.
Did you know Ted back in the day? Oh,
yeah. He would talk hitting and fishing. He had a $100,000 deal with Sears Roebuck Company to use his name for fishing. He told me, and then of course hitting wise, I'd ask him something about watch me in batting practice or something like that, and he'd sit over in the dugout. And because in them days, the umpires wouldn't let the guys sit behind the dugout during batting practice and talk to each other. Visiting teams. They'd sit up in the grandstand, fine you $50 if they saw you talking to somebody.
Fraternizing.
Yeah, it's a little different now.
Yeah, what do you think of today's game?
Well, there's some good players,
Yeah.
Gary Coleman, who was an announcer, and I played with him for years. And he said they're bigger, stronger, faster, and dumber. Now, whatever that meant, I don't know. That's what Gary told me. I can mention because I don't want to be the guy that originated that thing.
No, I spoke to Dick Rote, the old Pirate shortstop 30 years ago for a while, and he told me the same thing back then.
Oh, did he?
He said that the more talented, we know how to play the game better. That's what he told me.
Yeah, well,
each generation has
good kids in the minor leagues,
Yeah.
And then you can make it, but now the guy has 270 and 280, and they bring him up, and geez, we used to have to.
I think these guys striking out so much.
I never seen guys swing at balls that bounce on home plate.
Yeah.
But
the way they use pitchers these days.
The money talks and stuff like that, and the union and the agents, I guess, are running the game too. I don't know. I watch games on TV and stuff like that, and I went to San Diego Petco the other night. They had a major league alumni come in there, and they go to different ballparks and talk about pensions and different things that they let you know about new things that are happening and stuff like that, which is fun.
Yeah, you have to
Were you involved in the early union discussions and what have you?
No,
Okay.
You had to negotiate with George Weiss, right?
George Weiss was the general manager.
Yeah.
Of the Yankees when I was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I understand he was really, really tough.
Yeah, he was a tough guy. I hit .319 for the Yankees, and I was making $21,000, and they wanted me the same price. And he said, "Well, you only drove in 68 runs." I said, "But look at the lineup. I hit behind Mantle and Vera. I was either getting knocked on my butt by the pitcher, or they'd hit 9 miles, and I had to take it out on me, and nobody on base." And they tried to get you one way or the other because they didn't have the union and the agents, and finally I ended up getting $25,000 that year next year. So.
Yeah, you were on the team when they sold Vic Raschi to the Cardinals, because I think after that fifth straight, everybody was wanting more money, and he decided to make an example of Raschi. send to the Cardinals. I think that hurt everybody, on the team there.
Yeah, Rex, he's a great competitor.
All right, one more guy I want to ask you about is Charlie Silvera. You played a lot of years with Charlie, and he was nice enough to give me my second interview back in 1995.
Oh, no kidding? He's still up in the Bay Area.
Yep, and what a great guy.
I don't know how he's
the one
doing.
that told me that
back.
Rashi, Reynolds, and Lopat should go in the Hall of Fame as a trifecta.
There you go. I looked at that starting lineup in 52 World Series and Triple. I talked to Whitey a couple of times lately. He gets a little lost. Joey, his wife, said when he gets out a little bit. But I looked at that starting lineup and I'm going through. Yogi's gone. Collins is gone. Michael.
Yeah.
I'm the only guy.
Yeah.
What?
That's sad, but very true. And I want you to remain the only guy for a very long time.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I'm trying to do the best, whatever the guy upstairs tells me. I'm slowing down a lot. I've fallen a couple of times and fractured my shoulder and stuff like that, but I'm learning to take it a little easier now and relaxing, and I have nowhere to go, so what's the hurry about it, you know what I mean? I let my daughter and her husband live with me here now, so they drive me around and do a good job and take good care of me, so
well,
enjoy people.
God bless you, Irv, and I don't say that very, very offhandedly. This has been a real pleasure.
Same here. This has been an honor.
And absolutely. Highlight of my life, right up there.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know. I just like to, talk to people and let them know they want me to get a book going and stuff like that because I went through the Depression, in the 30s with my dad and Jamestown and World War II, the whole bit. So a lot of stories about the Yankees and stuff. I was never a big name ball player, but I got a lot of ball players. Got a lot of stories. Some I can't tell about Mickey.
Before I let you, I can't just let you go without, you mentioned World War II. What were your experiences in the war, Irv?
Well, I was in the 79th Infantry, but I got hurt in spring training, in infantry training, and hurt my knee. They were shooting those bullets over. We were going underneath the barbed wire fences and all that stuff, and real bullets were going over. And I hurt my knee landing somewhere, and the operator on it, and I got back and went through it again and stuff. I was on my way to the boat. I had my bayonet and everything. We were going to the South Pacific, I guess, and the sergeant said, her colonel came up and said, what's the matter with this soldier? And I said, nothing. Well, you're limping. I had my knee operated on 30 days ago. I said, where you're going, you can't have that knee operated. You have to fall out. So I fell out, and luckily I was on the boat, but I never got over there, they shipped. So I guess that's what the ferry, whatever. We were all ready to go in them days. And a lot of Major League ball players went and were in the service,
Right.
Fortunately, I spent my 3 years in there, 18 to 21, but I was ready to go, but it just happened that way. I guess I wasn't anxious to go there anyway. We were 18-year-old kids going over there, never shot guns before, probably,
Right.
But anyway.
Thank you, sir. We're both very appreciative, and I just want to tell you to keep on keeping on. And
I'm going
to
to try.
audience.
I appreciate your interest and stuff, and I just
thank you, sir. I will send a link to Teddy the show so he can play it for you. And
oh, great. Okay, yeah. I got my daughter does all this stuff for me here. I don't really get involved in a lot of all this new stuff coming out where you take.
I'm a lot younger than you. I can't do it. I can't do it either.
Right.
Yeah.
She was nice enough to help get you on the air tonight. That's Vicky, am I correct?
My daughter Vicky, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank her for me.
he's married Debbie, my other daughter, Ted.
Yes,
But,
yes, indeed. And I knew Ted.
I have 10 great kids. I have 10 great.
I was just going to say I knew Ted 35 years ago when he was coaching in the Cal League. So I don't know if you remember that with Modesto.
I was managing up to Modesto.
There.
Yeah.
And I had a terrific interview with Ted earlier in the week, and I will send him the link to both interviews, and I hope you listen. And again, thank Vicki, and thank you, Al, for co-hosting this.
Yeah, this is an honor for me.
Al, I really appreciate talking to you. I just like to say
I just want to say
thank you very much,
Irv. It's not only an honor for me to be with you, Irv Noren. It's an honor for me to be with Al Blumkin. So
yeah, that's right.
All right.
Right. Well,
and thanks for the memory of Lucy.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, she lived on 13th, and I lived on 12th Street. I think our houses backed up to each other. My dad said, I don't know, but he made a little more money than I did.
Well, you had a lot more fun than she did.
Yeah, I think I had a little. Well, it was great. I enjoyed it, and baseball's a great game, and I just hope that it keeps going, and so I'm sure it will. But I just get jealous sometimes when I made $25,000, man was making $65,000 and triple, the whole deal, and everybody's now making $10 million. Just making million and put the uniform on,
It's almost surreal.
Yeah,
I'm sure your head spins.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I don't have a lot of money, but I got enough. Like I tell people,
You haven't missed a meal yet. You haven't missed a meal yet, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
We'll be back next week, everybody. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Noren. Thanks, Mr. Blumkin.
Okay, take care, everybody.
Owned Radio Network. Over
okay, thank you. Bye-bye.